Guys, Wix just obliterated their staff. They just cut over 1,000 jobs, 20% of their workforce completely gone. And of course, AI is part of the reason. But what's interesting about the Wix layoff is their primary reason cited is unique. It's not something I've actually seen before, and I want to share it because I don't know if this is the best strategy. Like, when you're doing a layoff like this and you're making a public announcement, when you're a publicly traded company, I don't know that this type of approach is very smart. Quite frankly, I think a lot of the things that these AI gurus and tech gurus say, they don't make any sense. Like the Anthropic CEO running around saying that AI is going to take everyone's job. Like, do you think that that's going to make people more excited about AI? Probably not, dude. Probably not. Anyway, they keep doing it. But regardless, let's talk about Wix here today. If you're not familiar with Wix, it's an Israeli-based website builder for small businesses. And I know people that have built websites on Wix. And according to Google AI, it quote, Wix is a leading cloud-based website builder that allows anyone to create a professional website without any coding or technical knowledge. And by the way, there's a lot of, like WordPress has plugins. I use Elementor to build websites. Like, you can build websites without any coding knowledge. And quite frankly, with the addition of Claude Code, Claude Cowork, we all know that you can build all sorts of things without coding knowledge. And I'm not going to get into engineering and schema and database management, all that in this video. But the reality is that this idea of, hey, build a website, you don't need code, is that really a blue ocean? I think everybody kind of understands that at this point. Quite frankly, I typically, when I'm building a website, I'm actually building a new website now. I'm using a mixture of Claude to build it out, and I'm using WordPress plus plugins. And then, again, like I said, I've been really interested in building websites with Claude, plus Vercel, plus Supabase. And again, I think this might be part of the problem that Wix is having. There's just a lot of competition in that market, and we're kind of moving into this AI first world. Regardless, Wix is, like many of the companies that we cover on the channel, that's struggling to adapt to this dynamic, rapidly moving AI first world. But what's really interesting about Wix is that they are not necessarily calling out AI as the primary driver for these layoffs. They have another reason that is cited as their primary layoff. And it's kind of a unique take. It is the shekel. They are blaming the shekel. You see, the shekel has appreciated nearly 30% against the US dollar over the past year. And it's now reached a 33-year peak. Basically, they're saying that the shekel is crushing it. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what the CEO, Avishai Abrahami, has to say. He says, quote, as the majority of our teams are Israeli-based, a very meaningful portion of our costs are shekel-dominated, while our revenue is largely dollar-dominated. He continues, this creates a structural pressure on our ability to operate at our current scale. It is a reality that directly shapes what is sustainable for our company. And I gotta say, I don't think this is a very smart way of framing your layoff. Basically, what he's saying is the US dollar sucks and the Israeli shekel is crushing it. It's so good, and the dollar sucks so bad that we're just gonna have to cut 20% of our workforce. That is not a good indicator. And I know, guys, I know what you've all been saying. I see a lot of these comments where people say, like, Mark, it's not AI, it's problems with the workforce, it's problem with inflation, it's a problem with the increased cost of USB visas, it's a market, everyone's getting laid off, no one has money. Like, I get that there's more to it than just AI, right? I just happen to be, my belief is that AI is not only a massive driver of layoffs now in the way that companies are reformatting, but is only going to accelerate. And frankly, that's probably why you're subscribed to the channel, because you want to keep up with who's being laid off and why. Quite frankly, AI last month, in the month of April, AI was the #1 cited reason for layoffs. But now we have a new one. It's the shekel. It's the US dollar sucks and the shekel is awesome. And by the way, I just don't think this is a very, do you really want to alienate and tell Americans that, like, the US dollar is trash, especially with all the tension and drama that's built up around the state of Israel right now? I don't know that that's the right approach. Again, I'm not the CEO for a publicly traded company, but I don't think that's the right approach. You can correct me. If you think that's the right approach, you can put it in the comments below. I'd love to see that. Especially when the US does account for 55% of your company's revenue. I just don't think it's a good look. I don't think it's a good approach, but regardless, that was his primary reason. Now, that's not the end of the reason though. He also cites AI, and this is kind of a more traditional take. This is something we're seeing with a lot of companies. He says, quote, the ability to build things, the ability to, quote, build things the previous generation literally could not have imagined. So, you know, we're looking at a time now, guys, where you're able to build things much more quickly than ever before. And this isn't a surprise, right? We've seen companies like Block, Cisco, Meta, and then most recently ClickUp create layups like this. If you have not watched the ClickUp video, post a link to it here, because I think we cover some points about AI and its ability and like who's actually going to be relevant in an AI world. It's really interesting. And basically the thought process is we cut off 90% of our workforce and we just funnel all that cash to our top 10% of the workforce and give them AI tools to become 100x employees. And there's pros and cons to that. Just watch that ClickUp video. I think you'll find it very, very informative. I mean, the reality though is that AI does really transform and create new opportunities for people that didn't have opportunities before. Like, I'm building websites, I'm writing code, I'm analyzing ad campaigns, I'm creating spreadsheets. Guys, if you have not used Claude to create spreadsheets, you are missing out. Its ability to create spreadsheets is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'm integrating Claude AI with various websites and apps. And again, just on that idea of the spreadsheets, one of the really cool things that Claude does with spreadsheets is it automatically creates these like delightful, it's the only word I can use for it, it creates these like delightful interactive charts and like displays, and you could do so many really, really cool things. It's not just like sending, like you're not just sending your customer, your client, your boss, your colleagues, you're not just sending them some sort of like boring Google sheet. It's like an actual website. It feels very customized. I don't think, you know, I think a lot of people don't really understand how quick and easy and how beautiful it is to do that. Anyway, regardless, the reality is that Wix is in big trouble, guys. I think Wix is in big trouble personally. Their stocks have slid 50% this year alone. And gosh, if the shekel really is the problem, I don't know how they fix that, because here's the deal, guys. AI will make their best team members much more effective, much more efficient. I believe that. But the problem is if they're too late to the party, if they're already in the death rattle of the organization, just like gutting 20% of your staff and then saying we're going to be AI first, it's going to be too late. And you know, this is actually, honestly, this kind of opens my eyes to what a lot of companies are doing. And you guys have been kind of saying this in the comments too, like it's not AI. AI is part of it, but there's a lot more to it. If your company is in trouble, yeah, you know, you don't want to like go to effort. Let me put it this way. Like, let's say you want to go to the prom, right? And there's one girl, she's super hot. You like, that's the girl I'm taking to the prom. Well, you better start warming her up ASAP. If you wait till the week of prom and you ask her out and she says no, everyone else is taken. And before you know it, you are like, you know, you're stuck with either no one or probably someone that everybody else has passed on. So you got to start, acting now. Don't just wait till it's the week of prom. Don't just wait till your company is in the death throes. Like, start applying AI automation right now, because the reality is you can't just say, okay, we're AI first, guys, everyone pick up Claude. Like, there's frameworks that you have to apply. Like, you know, when I'm using AI, I like to assess, adapt, and then become adept. I follow the AAA method, right? And what that means is I assess where the needs are, right? Where can I apply AI? I start to adapt the tools, and then I want to become adept. I start to look at all the results, see what's working, see what's not working, double down on what's working, and then just put the stuff that's not working to the side. Because, and I think this is part of where people get turned off by AI, is they try to do something with AI that is maybe it's too complex, or they don't have enough first-party data on, or there's too many steps, there's too many failure points. They say, oh, AI doesn't work. Well, yeah, there's stuff like that. There's stuff like that. If I just tell AI, hey, write up and build an entire website for me with a CRM built in, go, it's not gonna work. But if I say, build a spreadsheet and several charts and graphs that I can present to customers and like, it'll do that excellently. So you got to try to figure out where it can actually stand out and do good work. And again, the key here for basically every company, not just tech companies, is start to learn and apply this stuff now. Don't just wait until your company's in trouble. The world is shifting quickly. This is the time to innovate and adapt. And I think a big opportunity for small business owners to adapt, because big companies, big enterprises, big organizations, they adapt very, very slowly. But guys like you and me, we can move quick. We can start building solutions very rapidly, really quickly, create side hustles, create additional streams of income to survive this AI wave. Guys, if you like what I'm saying, you can smash like. If not, you can still smash like. But in reality, I'm glad that you're here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. And check out yesterday's video where we talk about another company making a massive layoff decision. You're not going to want to miss that. Click the video. See you there. Peace.